Chosen ones, pause and pay attention, because this message is a divine revelation meant just for you. The number 444 flashing on the thumbnail caught your eye and drew you to this video. And that's no coincidence. It's a sacred signal from God. In the Bible and Christian life, 444 symbolizes divine protection, angelic presence, and God's unwavering faithfulness, echoing the truth that He surrounds His chosen with heavenly guardians and perfect order. You've been waiting, praying, and holding on through seasons of silence and refinement. This is that moment, chosen one, when the only soul who can truly match your frequency steps into your path, not by chance, but by heavenly design. Every trial that tried to break you, every door that closed every night, you whispered in faith, God has woven it all into this sacred alignment. Your endurance has positioned you for a connection that carries purpose, legacy, and kingdom authority. Why are you here watching this video? Because your spirit recognizes the whisper of destiny calling your name. Join our global community of faith. Comment below with your city or country and type 444 to declare your readiness for this divine encounter. Hit the like button to spread this heavenly message. Subscribe to stay anchored in God's guidance, and stay with me, chosen ones. For God is unveiling your promised counterpart today. You have mastered strength, but strength without surrender becomes a prison. You have learned to fight, to guard, to endure. But even warriors need rest. Even prophets need partnership. Even miracles need an open gate. And God is saying, I am sending what you prayed for, but it cannot enter if the sign still says no visitors. Listen closely, chosen ones. What is coming is not an invasion. It is a visitation. Heaven is not sending another storm. It is sending an answer. The blessing circling your atmosphere is ready to land, but it needs clearance. Your fortress is no longer meant to defend. It is meant to signal. The Spirit is transforming it into a lighthouse. The walls that kept you safe were never your enemy. They did their job faithfully. But now the assignment has changed. You no longer need to hide. You are being called to host. You no longer need to defend. You are being called to receive. Heaven is revising the covenant you made with yourself, not to remove sovereignty, but to expand it. Anointed one, the same Spirit that taught you to stand alone is now teaching you to stand alongside. You have proven that you can survive the wilderness. Now heaven is inviting you to thrive in the promised land. And no one inherits the promise alone. Moses needed Aaron. Ruth needed Boaz. Even Jesus chose disciples to carry what he carried. You are not made to live guarded. You are made to live graced. So if you have been feeling that strange mix of peace and restlessness lately, that is confirmation. You are standing at the border between independence and divine partnership. The silence around you is not punishment. It is preparation. The air has changed because heaven has already given the command. Bring them their equal. Somewhere in the unseen, a soul is already responding to your frequency, not someone who will drain you, but someone who will match you. Not a distraction, but divine alignment. This is not an ordinary attraction. This is supernatural synchronization. The shift began the moment you said, I'm ready. When you whispered that prayer, your energy rotated. You did not become weaker. You became receptive. Heaven heard that whisper as a decree. The laws of divine timing moved instantly. You stopped broadcasting survival and began transmitting destiny, a frequency encoded with your healing, your wisdom, your truth. That is why everything around you feels different. People who once understood you now feel distant. Conversations that used to excite you suddenly drain you. You are not broken, you are evolving. You are no longer sending out a cry for rescue. You are emanating a call for resonance, and only those prepared by heaven can hear it. Chosen one. This is why God hid you. You were not punished, you were preserved. Your light was too pure to be mishandled. You had to be sealed until your matching frequency was ready, until the other soul destined to walk beside you had been refined enough to recognize your vibration. And now, the time is near. You can feel it even if you cannot explain it. Waves of emotion that seem to come from nowhere, flashes of memory that do not belong to this life-sudden peace in the middle of chaos. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. The alignment is already taking shape in the spirit before it becomes visible on earth. Your future is brushing against your present. Heaven is collapsing timelines. What once took years will soon unfold in moments. The signs will be subtle. A word that stirs your spirit, a stranger's glance that feels ancient, a conversation that awakens something long asleep within you. And when it happens, chosen ones, you will know. You will not need to strive or chase. Recognition will replace resistance. Peace will overtake fear because heaven has already written this meeting, and the one who carries your matching frequency is already on their way. Chosen ones, before the one who matches your frequency appears, heaven is doing something deeper, refining you from within. Not to change who you are, but to enlarge what you can carry. Before God sends what He promised, He perfects the space in you that must hold it. That is what this moment is: refinement disguised as rest alignment, hidden in silence. You might feel weary without reason. The things that once fueled you now feel heavy. Friendships fade, routines dissolve. But this is not loss, anointed one. It is divine recalibration. When heaven raises your frequency, everything misaligned must fall away. What looks like endings is really energy clearing for the next assignment. I have walked through that silence too, mistaking heaven's quiet for absence. But I learned that God speaks loudest through stillness. When He is preparing you for divine transfer, He does not shout. He adjusts. He orchestrates everything around you until it harmonizes with destiny. The silence is a strategy. Remember this truth. Heaven is never late. Every delay is choreography. Every detour is designed. What felt like rejection was redirection. The doors that did not open were not judgmental. They were merciful. God was not withholding. He was waiting until your heart could handle what He was about to release. Now your energy is shifting. You have stopped begging for connection. You are radiating wholeness. The frequency of lack has turned into the frequency of abundance. And because of that, heaven is rearranging your circle. The ones tied to your old season are fading. The ones carrying divine alignment are being drawn near. Chosen one, the soul who matches your frequency, is not random. They have been walking their own refining path. Stripped, tested, restored, just like you. When you were learning to trust again, they were learning endurance. When you were healing, they were surrendering. Two parallel journeys shaped in separate silence, now magnetically converging. That is why lately you have been sensing things. Dreams that feel too vivid. Songs that follow you. A name that stirs peace and curiosity. These are not coincidences. They are divine echoes, frequencies brushing across dimensions as heaven syncs two timelines into one. And yes, people will drift. Plans will pause, opportunities may collapse. Do not mistake it for chaos. It is coordination. The old scene must fade so the new act can begin. The stage is being cleared for divine entrance. When they appear, you will know. You will not need to overanalyze. Your spirit will recognize them before your mind does. It will not be loud or dramatic. It will be peace, deep and steady, the kind that quiets every question. When something is truly from God, it will not shake your foundation. It will strengthen it. I have felt this before. I once met someone who felt like remembering a song I had forgotten. There was no rush, no confusion, just peace. That encounter taught me something eternal. When frequencies align, the soul remembers. God used that moment to teach me discernment. So when the true connection arrives, I will not mistake distraction for destiny. But know this: anointed one, before heaven releases what is authentic, the enemy will send imitation. Counterfeits come first. Charisma without calling, chemistry without covenant. They sound right but lack spiritual depth. They flatter your wounds instead of feeding your faith. Do not fall for near misses. The real one will not ask you to dim your light to be loved. They will help you burn brighter. The right connection will never compete with your purpose. It will complete its expression. It will not detour your destiny. It will walk beside it. When two lights unite under heaven's order, they do not cancel each other out. They illuminate nations. That is why your solitude had to last. Heaven does not join brokenness to brokenness. God pairs healed souls, not desperate ones. You had to learn wholeness so you would not confuse peace with boredom or silence with disinterest. The one coming will not trigger your trauma. They will amplify your tranquility. And when they arrive, you will understand why every heartbreak, every closed door, and every unanswered prayer was necessary. Heaven was shaping your intuition, teaching you spiritual fluency, refining your ability to distinguish counterfeit energy from covenant energy. Chosen one, this is not just love, it is legacy. This is not just companionship, it is collaboration. Together, your union will awaken healing in others. You will carry an atmosphere of restoration wherever you go. Your story will become a living prophecy, proof that wholeness attracts wholeness and that divine timing never fails. But first, heaven must know you can steward what is coming. Can you love without fear? Open without collapsing? Stand in unity without losing individuality? This is why the silence feels sacred. It is God enlarging your capacity to receive greatness without losing humility. So breathe, chosen one. Do not resist what is leaving. Do not chase what is shifting. The stillness is not empty, it is orchestration. Heaven is synchronizing two frequencies into one perfect harmony. The magnetism is building. The countdown has begun. And when the divine moment comes, you will know peace will whisper before words do. The one who matches your frequency is already approaching. Chosen one, the alignment that is unfolding now is not ordinary. It is sacred. Heaven has been preparing you for a connection that carries purpose, not just emotion, destiny, not distraction. What is coming toward you is not another lesson in loss. It is a living answer to every prayer you whispered in faith and forgot in exhaustion. You are standing in a moment where the invisible is beginning to take form. Signs are multiplying numbers. Repeat, doors open effortlessly. Divine nudges appear through small coincidences. Do not brush them aside. They are confirmation codes from heaven, messages that the orchestration has already begun. Every delay you endured, every unanswered prayer was heaven perfecting timing down to the second. Anointed one, before any divine partnership appears, God always restores identity. You had to learn who you were before heaven could show you who was meant to walk beside you. That is why the last season felt like isolation. You were being rewritten, not punished. You were not being ignored. You were being refined for recognition. Your energy is different now. The same things that used to drain you no longer hold your attention. The same environments that once felt like home now feel too small. That is because your soul has outgrown survival. You are vibrating on the frequency of purpose, and the world you once fit into cannot contain that anymore. Chosen one, that shift is not loneliness, it is preparation. Heaven clears the room before a divine entrance. God removes counterfeits before he releases the covenant. The people who left the plans that fell apart, even the opportunities that slipped through your hands, all of them were protection disguised as disappointment. Nothing was lost. It was aligned in motion. And now what is coming is not another cycle. It is convergence. Heaven is merging two timelines, two hearts, two assignments. The one who carries your matching frequency is already within range. You will feel them before you see them, a warmth, a peace, an unexplainable familiarity. It will not be anxiety disguised as excitement. It will be calm disguised as destiny. I know, anointed one, you have had moments when you wondered if you would ever be met in full, if anyone could understand the depth you carry without dimming it. But God never designed you to be misunderstood forever. He simply hid you until someone could see you through divine eyes. The time for hiding is ending. Heaven is unveiling you now, and in that unveiling comes your equal. This alignment is not built on attraction alone. It is built on assignment. Together, your light will multiply. What one of you carried quietly will now roar through unity. Your connection will not only bless you, it will heal others just by existing. People will feel peace around you and not know why. That is because your union is a ministry without a microphone. That is why the warfare was so intense. The enemy was not afraid of your solitude. He feared your alliance, because two healed souls walking in agreement carry exponential authority. When you stand together, heaven does not just bless your home, it blesses generations. The power that once scattered your energy will now bow before your alignment. But before it manifests, heaven will test your posture. Will you stay open when fear whispers, "Close up again"? Will you trust peace even when it feels unfamiliar? The old version of you will want to overthink, to analyze, to guard. But this next season will not respond to logic. It responds to faith. You cannot reason your way into divine timing. You can only rest your way into it. Chosen one, rest does not mean doing nothing. It means trusting that heaven is doing everything. Stay faithful to your purpose. Stay grounded in gratitude. Keep walking in excellence even when you cannot see the full picture, because in one ordinary day, in one conversation, the extraordinary will happen. It will not feel forced. It will not come with fanfare. It will arrive quietly, a divine connection disguised as coincidence. And when it happens, your whole being will recognize it. Your body will relax. Your spirit will rise, and something inside you will whisper, "This is it." When the real arrives, you will not need to chase. You will attract through alignment. The person meant for you will not compete with your calling. They will amplify it. You will know them not by how loud they appear, but by how still you feel when they are near. Chosen one, heaven is saying, be ready, not restless. Be open, not desperate. What is coming is not fantasy, it is fulfillment. Every lonely night was a rehearsal for this moment. Every prayer was a blueprint for what is about to unfold. The countdown has already begun. The air around you knows it. The angels around you are preparing, and soon, sooner than you think, the only soul who can match your frequency will step into your orbit, not to complete you, but to walk with you. Not to rescue you, but to reign beside you. Chosen one, as this divine alignment draws nearer, the atmosphere around you will start to change. The spiritual realm is already in motion, shifting circumstances and drawing threads together with mathematical precision. You will notice it not in loud ways, but in subtle patterns, a sense of déjà vu, a repeated symbol, a calm awareness that something is preparing to unfold. These are the tremors before manifestation, the echoes of heaven's choreography. Anointed one, when heaven prepares to reveal what it has promised, everything unnecessary begins to fall away. People who once felt central to your life may fade quietly. Projects that once mattered deeply may suddenly feel complete. Do not resist the release. It is sacred. God never takes without giving. He clears space for the right thing to enter. You cannot welcome what is destined if your hands are still clinging to what was temporary. I have learned this firsthand. There were moments I prayed for breakthrough but could not see that my own attachments were blocking the blessing. Heaven will not pour new oil into old vessels. The old structures must break before fresh anointing can flow. So if something recently ended, trust this truth: it did not collapse. It concluded. Heaven closed that chapter not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. Chosen one. What is coming is pure, and purity cannot coexist with clutter. That is why you have been walking through this strange season of pruning. It is not punishment. It is precision. The Spirit is refining your environment so that when your divine counterpart arrives, both of you will meet in a space of order, not chaos. Two frequencies this powerful cannot unite in confusion. The foundation must be peace. And that is exactly what heaven is building right now. Peace. You may notice that you no longer crave noise. You are comfortable with silence. That is a divine sign of maturity. The noise of the old world cannot distract someone who has learned to hear heaven in stillness. Because when you meet this person, the recognition will not come from excitement or tension. It will come from peace that overwhelms fear. Anointed One. The truth is, your spirit already knows them. You have met in dreams, exchanged energy in prayer, crossed paths in unseen dimensions. That is why sometimes you wake up with a strange sense of warmth or hope. It is not random, it is resonance. Their spirit is moving closer to yours. The closer they come, the more heaven will prepare you through purification. You will find yourself releasing old wounds, forgiving people you once vowed never to forgive, feeling lighter for no logical reason. That is your signal, the cleansing before connection. Heaven is ensuring your heart is open enough to receive love without suspicion and wise enough to recognize purity when it appears. Chosen One, the one who is approaching, will not be intimidated by your strength. They will be drawn to it. They will not compete with your calling. They will protect it. You will not have to explain your anointing or apologize for your light. They will understand instinctively because they carry the same flame in a different form. You are not opposites. You are complements. Together you will activate something powerful. It will feel less like falling in love and more like awakening. Their presence will unlock dormant parts of your purpose. Conversations will feel like prophecy. Shared silence will feel like prayer. It will be partnership without pretense, intimacy without confusion. But with that kind of alignment comes responsibility. Heaven will trust you both with influence, not for vanity, but for visibility. People will sense peace when you enter a room. They will watch how you honor each other, how you carry grace even in disagreement. Without realizing it, you will become living proof that connection and calling can coexist. Anointed One. This is why the preparation has been so long. Heaven was not just preparing you to meet someone. It was preparing you to build with someone. You are being equipped to carry not just love, but legacy. This connection will ripple beyond your personal life. It will touch generations, awaken others to their divine identity, and establish spiritual order in places long chaotic. Do not underestimate the weight of what is coming. This is why you have had to learn patience, discernment, humility, and trust. Those were not random virtues. They were foundations. Every delay taught you how to love without control. Every silence taught you how to listen beyond words. Every disappointment taught you how to see purpose in pain. And now, the Chosen One, those lessons are about to bear fruit. You are not entering another test. You are entering testimony. The very energy that once tried to break you will now serve as proof of your resilience. When this connection manifests, it will be confirmation that nothing you endured was wasted. Every scar will shine as evidence of survival and grace. So, stay steady. Do not overthink. Keep your heart pure, your mind peaceful, your spirit expectant. You are standing at the edge of fulfillment. The frequencies are synchronizing. The alignment is almost complete. Chosen One. Heaven whispers, hold your posture. Your reflection is approaching, not to take from you, but to walk beside you, not to compete, but to complete the circle I began in you. They are closer than you imagine, drawn not by accident, but by design. Chosen One, as the orchestration nears completion, the spiritual atmosphere around you is vibrating with quiet intensity. You may feel it, that sacred pressure, that gentle anticipation that does not let you rest the same way it once did. It is not anxiety. It is the sound of heaven preparing a convergence. Every force that once worked against you is now being recalibrated to work for you. Anointed One. Divine alignment always begins with inner confirmation before it becomes outer manifestation. You will notice it in your body, your emotions, your environment. Your sleep patterns may shift. Your sensitivity to energy may increase. People's words will affect you differently, not because you are fragile, but because you are tuned higher now. Your discernment has become sharp, surgical, sacred. You can sense dishonor before it is spoken, peace before it arrives. That is the mark of a vessel chosen for divine partnership. You are becoming magnetic in ways you cannot explain. The same light that once drew enemies now attracts destiny. You do not have to announce what is happening. Your frequency is doing the talking. Every act of obedience, every tear you surrendered, every time you chose faith instead of bitterness, all of it has built a spiritual signal that heaven is amplifying. And that signal is now reaching the one carrying your match. Chosen one, the days of striving are over. You no longer need to chase what is already coded to find you. Divine attraction is not built on effort, but alignment. You simply have to stay in the frequency of peace, purpose, and gratitude. When your spirit stays steady, heaven handles the rest. But before manifestation comes, the Spirit will test your trust. You may see sudden delays or detours, plans rearranging opportunities, pausing. Do not panic. This is not the enemy. It is divine editing. God is synchronizing timing so that both your paths collide perfectly. If it had happened a day earlier, it would have been premature. If it came a day later, it would have been missed. So heaven is holding you both in a sacred pause, not denial, but design. I remember going through such a season myself. I thought everything was collapsing. Friendships drifted, income slowed, prayers seemed unanswered. I did not realize then that heaven was repositioning me for a divine meeting that required space, not speed. The stillness that once scared me became the proof that God was setting the stage. That is what is happening for you, chosen one. The quiet is not empty. It is holy. When your divine counterpart steps into your life, it will feel like recognition, not surprise. Your spirit will sigh in relief as though it has been holding its breath for years. It will not be fireworks or chaos. It will be divine familiarity. That is how you will know it is real, because the peace will be louder than the passion. Anointed one, this person will not arrive to fix you. They will mirror your wholeness. They will not pull you backward. They will propel you forward. Together you will become a bridge between heaven and earth, a living example that divine unions still exist. And through you, both God will show others what sacred partnership truly looks like, strength balanced by softness, leadership balanced by love. When you meet, time will seem to bend. Hours will feel like minutes. Conversations will feel like remembering rather than discovering. You will find yourself speaking about things you have never shared before, yet it will feel safe. That is not a coincidence. That is the recognition of spirits that have agreed in the heavenlies long before the meeting on earth. And yet chosen ones do not rush the process. Divine timing has no competition. The slower it appears, the deeper the roots. Let connection build organically without force. The blessing you are receiving is not fragile, it is eternal. If it is truly from God, it will not need chasing, it will need stewarding. This is also the season of confirmation. Pay attention to the small details. Certain songs will follow you. Scripture will repeat itself. Strangers will say words that echo your private prayers. Heaven is leaving breadcrumbs to remind you that you are not imagining this. You are witnessing prophecy unfold in real time. And when this person enters your life, remember it is not just about romance. It is about reign. Two sovereigns meeting does not create dependency, it creates dominion. Together, you will shift atmospheres, bring balance, and demonstrate what divine partnership looks like when heaven is at the center. Chosen one, I need you to hear this clearly. You are not behind. You have not missed your moment. What is for you is still for you because it was written before time began. The one who matches your frequency has not been delayed. They have been prepared. And now their spirit is moving closer, drawn by the same divine gravity, pulling you forward. So breathe deeply. Stay grounded in purpose. Keep your crown polished and your heart open. You are walking in the exact rhythm of heaven's heartbeat. The union heaven promised is not distant, it is imminent. The signs are already appearing, the gates are already opening, and the sound of two destinies aligning is already echoing through eternity. Chosen one, hold steady. The convergence is near. What is approaching is not random. It is the reward of obedience. Chosen one, the hour you have been waiting for is approaching not just in the natural, but in the spirit. The alignment you have prayed for is no longer forming in silence. It is manifesting in sequence. What you are feeling lately, the heaviness, the stirring, the anticipation, is spiritual contraction. Heaven is giving birth to the promise anointed one. Every birthing process carries pressure. When your spirit expands to receive what God has prepared, your emotions, body and mind all react. Do not mistake this discomfort as a sign of something wrong. Pressure is evidence that something divine is near. You are being stretched to hold a greater blessing. You might notice the shift in strange ways. Things that once mattered do not hold weight anymore. Conversations that once entertained you now feel shallow. Your focus has sharpened. Your tolerance for anything counterfeit has vanished. That is because you have outgrown your old vibration. Your spirit is ascending into alignment with what matches your future, not your past. Chosen one, when heaven elevates your frequency, it must recalibrate your environment. Certain people will no longer resonate with you, not because they are bad, but because their season in your life is complete. Release them in love. There is no bitterness in elevation. The one who is meant for you will meet you at your new altitude, not pull you back to the old one. I know the ache of letting go. I have walked through nights where I questioned why God kept pruning relationships, removing familiar things, closing doors I thought were sacred. But in hindsight, I saw it clearly. What I called loss was divine space. Heaven cannot fill a cup that is already full. God does not take from you. He trades with you, and what He is about to trade into your life will exceed imagination. Anointed one. This coming connection is not about completing a lonely heart. It is about combining two mantles. Together you will carry authority in the spiritual and material realms. Heaven calls this double dominion. What one of you prays, the other will confirm. What one of you starts, the other will sustain. You will move in unity so precise that even silence will carry instruction. But this partnership is not born from convenience. It is birthed through consecration. That is why you had to endure so many false starts and painful endings. Those experiences taught you spiritual discernment, the ability to distinguish between energy that flatters and energy that fortifies. You needed to learn the sound of counterfeit connection so that when the real frequency arrived, your soul would recognize it instantly. Chosen one. When the divine meeting happens, it will feel like recognition, not discovery. You will look into their eyes and feel time folded. You will realize this is not the first time your souls have agreed. You made a covenant long before you had language for it. Heaven simply waited for both of you to mature into your readiness. The first conversation will be confirmation. You will sense purpose woven through every word. You will laugh easily, breathe deeper, and feel your nervous system relax. It will not feel like falling in love. It will feel like stepping into alignment. The peace will be overwhelming, and in that moment your spirit will whisper, "This is what I was prepared for." But remember, chosen one, peace does not mean passive. This connection requires stewardship. You must protect it from the world's noise. Guard it with prayer, not paranoia. Let it unfold naturally. Divine timing has no competition. What is meant for you does not rush. You do not have to force what heaven has already sealed. And as the bond deepens, you will notice the supernatural acceleration around your life. Doors will open with ease. Opportunities will appear that once took years to cultivate. Finances will flow with purpose because heaven funds divine assignments. The union you are entering is not just emotional. It is financial, spiritual, and generational. You are being positioned for influence, not indulgence. Anointed one, this is the wealth transfer. You did not expect the kind that comes through alignment, not striving. When you connect with the one carrying your frequency, favor multiplies. It is not about chasing success, it is about becoming a vessel. Heaven trusts to carry abundance with humility. So do not be surprised when things start accelerating. Do not be alarmed when new territories open quickly. You have waited long enough in faith. Now faith is working for you. Every prayer you prayed in private has been recorded. And now heaven is releasing what was held in reserve. Chosen ones, listen carefully. The vibration you carry is rare. It calls forth purity. It summons destiny. It attracts only what has been approved by divine timing. That is why you have walked through delay. Heaven guards its treasures fiercely. The one who is approaching is not coming to save you. They are coming to serve beside you. Together, you will build what no single soul could have carried alone, two anointed frequencies blending into one divine harmony. That is the sound hell fears most. So, stay steady. Do not look back. Do not rush forward. Simply stay attuned. Every breath you take now resonates with divine timing. Every prayer you speak adds momentum to what is already unfolding. Chosen one, heaven whispers again, hold the frequency. The union is sealed. The gates are opening. You are not waiting anymore. You are walking toward manifestation. Chosen one, what is unfolding now is sacred, not just a meeting between two souls, but the fulfillment of an ancient decree. You are stepping into the divine unveiling of what heaven has been protecting for years. The energy around you feels charged for a reason. The closer you move toward manifestation, the stronger the pull becomes. This is spiritual gravity destiny drawing destiny. Anointed one. Everything you have endured was not random. Every season of loneliness, every night of questioning, every prayer that ended in silence, it was all divine preparation. You were not being punished, you were being purified. Heaven needed you to know the sound of stillness so that when this divine connection arrived, you could recognize peace instead of chaos. And now that peace is about to find you in human form, this is not the arrival of a stranger. It is the reunion of two assignments that share one heartbeat. The moment you meet something within you will settle. It will not be fireworks. It will be recognition. You will not need validation because your spirit will say, I've known you before time. Chosen ones, the signs will be unmistakable. The conversation will feel guided, the timing impossible to plan. Even your surroundings will seem to echo the encounter. The air will feel charged, the light softer, the moment almost cinematic. And yet beneath all that beauty, there will be stillness. That is how you know it is divine. God never enters with noise. He arrives knowingly. But remember, heaven's unions are not built for spectacle. They are forged for impact. This connection is not just for comfort, it is for kingdom purposes. Together you will move in divine rhythm. Your energy will amplify each other's assignments. You will finish each other's prayers, sense each other's burdens, and speak with an unspoken understanding that transcends words. Anointed one, when the two of you align, it will feel like a mirror has appeared not to show you perfection, but reflection. You will see in them the healed version of yourself. You will realize why God asked you to wait, why He said no to the almosts and the maybes. Because this alignment could only arrive once both hearts were whole. And when heaven brings two whole souls together, it does not just create love, it creates legacy. You are not meeting just for affection, you are meeting for an assignment. This union will birth vision, creativity, influence, and healing for others. What you carry together will stretch far beyond romance. It will awaken something divine in everyone who witnesses it. Chosen one, understand that this connection will not need to be explained. The evidence will speak. The fruit will prove it. The world will see the peace in your eyes, the glow in your spirit, the confidence in your walk. They will sense something different, the mark of divine timing. You will not need to convince anyone. Heaven's endorsement is loud enough. But hear this. When light intensifies, darkness notices. Do not be surprised if old energies try to resurface, if distractions appear suddenly. The enemy always tests what is anointed. Guard your peace like treasure. Protect the sacred bond being formed. It is not fear, it is wisdom. Some things are too holy to explain. You will need prayer more than performance. You will need discernment more than excitement. Do not announce everything. Let fruit reveal it. Hidden things grow stronger. Public things attract warfare. Heaven's wisdom is secrecy until stability. So let the connection root deeply before it blooms publicly. Anointed one, I remember when God first taught me this. There was a moment when I wanted to prove that something was real, but heaven whispered, "What's divine doesn't demand defense." That truth changed me. When something comes from God, its strength is in silence, not noise. Its proof is in peace, not approval. And that will be your posture, now chosen, one quiet confidence. You will not need to post about it, flaunt it, or justify it. You will simply live it, and the radiance will be undeniable. People will feel the presence of heaven on you both without you saying a word. Together, you will walk in supernatural favor. Opportunities will appear where none existed. Divine partnerships will open. Finances will align effortlessly. It is not a coincidence. It is a covenant. Heaven funds what it initiates. The union you are entering is not only emotional restoration, but divine activation. You will operate as two instruments in one symphony tuned perfectly to heaven's frequency. Chosen one. This is what it means to be equally yoked in the spirit. Two sovereigns, both submitted to the same king. When one prays, the other feels it. When one battles, the other covers. When one celebrates, the other multiplies the joy. That is what makes this rare. That is what makes this holy. So stay ready. Keep your posture of praise. Keep your heart steady in gratitude. The days of wondering when are ending. The unveiling is already in motion. The frequencies have merged. The covenant has been confirmed. The gates of your next chapter are opening now. Chosen one. Heaven whispers, "This is the fulfillment of the wait. This is the reward of endurance. This is the union that carries my signature. You have walked through fire. Now you will reign through favor." Chosen one, take a deep breath. This is the moment your spirit has been sensing all along. The waiting season is over. The veil that once concealed your promise has lifted. You are walking into divine fulfillment, the revelation of everything heaven prepared while you were still in the wilderness. Anointed one, the one who matches your frequency, is no longer on the horizon. They are here. Their arrival will not come as shock, but as sacred recognition. Every cell in your body will know before your mind does. The peace that enters the room when they do will confirm what your prayers already whispered. You will not need to question if it is real, because heaven never stutters when it speaks. This is not a coincidence. This is a covenant. The meeting was written long before either of you were born. Every detour, every heartbreak, every silence, it all served a divine timeline. God never wastes pain. He repurposes it. The tears you cried in private watered the roots of this promise. The patience you practiced became the price for your promotion. Now the harvest is visible. Chosen one, what is unfolding is bigger than love. It is a legacy. Together, you and this person are the fulfillment of a prophetic blueprint. This union is not just emotional alignment. It is spiritual architecture, the merging of two mantles, two missions, two realms of influence. Heaven did not just plan for you to meet. It was planned for you to build, and you will build differently. Your relationship will not be founded on fear or fantasy, but on faith and function. You will pray together, create together, dream together. You will carry peace into rooms that have forgotten it. You will bring light into industries that have lost their integrity. Wherever you go, people will sense something unusual, not perfection, but presence. Anointed one. I have learned that divine love is quiet strength. It does not demand attention. It attracts them. It does not compete. It complements. It does not drain. It pours. That is what is coming your way. A love that does not make you smaller, but expands your capacity to serve, give, and lead. This connection will restore what was once stolen time, confidence, hope, even youth. It will remind you that love was never meant to be survival. It was meant to be a sanctuary. And in that sanctuary, God Himself will dwell. You will look back one day and realize every heartbreak was heaven redirecting you to this. Chosen one, understand this clearly. You are not entering a chapter of comfort. You are entering a chapter of calling. Divine partnership magnifies responsibility as much as it magnifies joy. This is not a resting place. It is a launching pad. Heaven is pairing you with someone who carries complementary anointing because your combined influence is meant to shift the world around you. Together, you will step into acceleration. What used to take years will happen in months. Doors will open effortlessly because the two of you are walking in divine order. You will experience favor that feels supernatural, and people will call it luck, but you will know it is alignment. This is not a chance. It is choreography. But remember, chosen one humility must remain your anchor. The enemy cannot sabotage what is rooted in surrender. Keep God at the center of this covenant. Pray over each other. Cover each other. Never allow the world's applause to replace heaven's approval. You are being trusted with influence. Handle it with holiness. And as you walk forward, be mindful of this truth. Your story does not end here. This union is not the conclusion. It is the coronation. 2 crowns, 1 kingdom. 2 thrones, 1 mission. Heaven is commissioning you both to carry light into dark places, to live as proof that love, ordained by God, still exists, still heals, still reigns. Chosen one, you are not who you were when this journey began. The scars on your heart are no longer reminders of loss. They are seals of covenant. Every part of you has been prepared for this. You are ready. The fortress has become a lighthouse, and its beacon has done its work. The one it was meant to guide has found their way home. Now the reign of 2 begins. Together, you will walk in dominion. Together, you will birth movements, ideas, and miracles. Together, you will remind the world that heaven still writes love stories that echo through eternity. So breathe, receive rest in what is already yours. The gates are open. The frequency is fulfilled. Chosen one, this is not the end. This is the unveiling. Heaven whispers, it is done. Your alignment is complete. Your promise is visible. The one who carries your reflection now stands beside you. 2 sovereigns, 2 crowns. 1 destiny, 1 light. Chosen one, as this word settles into your spirit, know this: heaven has already begun to move. The alignment has been activated, and the one carrying your matching frequency is already within reach. You are not waiting for it to happen. You are walking into what has already been written. This is your Kairos moment, the divine appointment ordained before time. Anointed one, may your discernment stay sharp. Your peace remain unshaken, and your faith stand anchored in the God who finishes what he begins. The shift you have been sensing is not imagination. It is confirmation. What was delayed is now accelerating. What was hidden is now unfolding. Heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven has positioned you. I decree over you clarity in your steps, abundance in your hands, and divine companionship in your journey. May every gate that once resisted you now open with ease. May every false connection fall away, and may your true counterpart, the one assigned to your frequency, recognize you by spirit before sight. Chosen one, as the divine alignment with your matching frequency draws ever closer, sealing the promise of sacred partnership and legacy, you stand on the threshold of something even greater. The solitude that refined you, the trials that tested your faith, and the open heart you have cultivated were not in vain. They were the breaking point heaven allowed to shatter every limitation, to dissolve the old chains of doubt and delay. Now, with your frequency perfectly tuned and your counterpart approaching the unprecedented reward, unfolds a flood of blessings, authority, and abundance that no eye has seen nor heart imagined for those who endured to this moment. God's chosen one, this is your reminder. You didn't miss anything. You were hidden on purpose. You were delayed by design. And now the release will come with no striving, no manipulation, just favor, because the anointing makes room for itself. John chapter 14 verse 27 mentions peace. I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. That's the peace you carry now, unshaken, rooted, anointed. You know too much. You've seen too much. You've survived too much to ever question his hand again. So now declare it in the comments. The silence trained me, because that's exactly what it did. It taught you to hear what others miss. It trained you to walk by faith, not feedback. It made your spirit sharp, your motives clean, your discernment razor-focused. While others complained, you listened. While others doubted, you dug deeper. While others quit you, let God mold you. And while many rushed to be seen, you stayed hidden and were strengthened. You learned to stand with no applause, to obey with no confirmation, and to believe with no evidence. This is not just a catchy phrase. It's the truth behind your authority. The silence trained you, and now you walk in the reward marked by the fire you walked through. That's who you are now, not because you came out untouched, but because you came out transformed. You didn't just survive the flames, you were forged in them. What others thought would consume you only refined you. The very heat that was meant to destroy you became the proof that you were called for more. You didn't escape the battle, you endured it. You didn't avoid the furnace, you stood inside it. And now you carry something that can't be taught, imitated, or bought. You carry weight in the spirit authority that didn't come from titles, but from trials. Glory that wasn't gained in a classroom, but in a crucible. That fire marked you. You no longer carry the scent of smoke. You carry the evidence of survival. There are things about you that can't be explained, only discerned. You walk into places and shift atmospheres. You speak and people stop to listen. Why? Because the fire didn't just purify your life. It marked your voice. It marked your presence. It marked your journey. People will ask how you got here, and you won't be able to point to a formula. There was no 10-step process. There was only one path through the fire, through heartbreak, through betrayal, through silence, through disappointment, through prayer that felt unanswered, through faith that had to rise up when feelings died out. And because you walked through it and didn't curse God because you remained when it would have been easier to run, He placed something eternal on your life. You've been marked. You've been distinguished in the unseen realm, not by fame, but by fire. Not by popularity, but by purity. And the world may never understand the full story, but the spirit realm already knows you are not the same. You are different now. You feel different. You see differently. You hear different things. You move differently. There's a weight on your walk and a roar behind your whisper. You don't speak to impress. You speak to pierce. You don't seek attention. You carry the intention. Everything about you has been recalibrated by what you walked through. That's why shallow things can't hold your focus anymore. That's why fake conversations feel exhausting. That's why old environments feel suffocating. It's not arrogance, it's assignment. You're not better than anyone, but you are not the same as before. And pretending otherwise would be dishonoring the fire that shaped you. The fire not only purified what was in you, it exposed what had to leave. It burned off false identities. It revealed the hidden pride. It surfaced the buried wounds. And once you saw those things in the flame, you let them go because the fire taught you what truly matters. And what matters now is pleasing Him, not people, not trends, not applause, just Him. There is a look in your eyes that only the furnace can create, a steadiness, a clarity, a knowing. You've seen too much. You've lost too much. You've endured too much to be shaken by opinions. You didn't come out of the fire, just healed. You came out whole, stronger, wiser, softer, yet more dangerous to the enemy than ever before. And now when others enter their own fire, they'll look at you and see proof that survival is possible. You'll be the sign they didn't know they needed, the evidence that God still walks through flames with His people, that He doesn't leave you in the heat. He meets you there. And when you come out, you don't come out empty. You come out carrying the flame with you. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 2 confirms, "When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." That's why you still stand. That's why you didn't collapse, not because you were strong, but because you were preserved. Because what was inside you was eternal. The fire couldn't touch it. The storm couldn't drown it. The darkness couldn't extinguish it. You are marked. And now when you speak, chains break. When you worship, revival ignites. When you walk into a room, the unseen world reacts, because the enemy remembers the fire you walked through, and he knows you didn't come out alone. You came out carrying glory, and with that glory comes responsibility. You are no longer walking just for yourself. You're carrying a breakthrough for others. Your survival wasn't just personal, it was prophetic. You are living proof that God still brings beauty from ashes, purpose from pain, and legacy from loss. You didn't just make it out. You were sent back as a sign and a sword. You confused hell by not quitting. When everything in your life screamed, "This is the end," you didn't walk away. When the pressure built to unbearable levels and the silence from heaven became deafening, you didn't curse God. You kept showing up. You whispered prayers with shaking hands. You praised through clenched teeth. You believed when nothing made sense. That decision didn't go unnoticed. Heaven recorded it, and hell was confused. The enemy thought he had you. He sent everything: delay, betrayal, loss, mental torment, exhaustion. But every attack that was supposed to destroy you just made you more dangerous. He expected silence after your breaking, but you turned your whisper into a war cry. He expected bitterness, but found obedience. He expected disconnection, but you drew even closer to the presence of God. You didn't just endure, you defied darkness. And that's why what's coming next in your life won't make sense to others. Because the reward you're about to walk in has nothing to do with titles, networks, or public recognition. It's divine, unexplainable, supernatural, heaven-backed. You didn't fight for position. You fought to stay in alignment. You didn't compete for approval. You surrendered for obedience. That's why you are rising now, because God is not looking for polished performers. He is raising up survivors with scars, warriors with tears on their robes, worshippers who've been through hell and still say, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." That's who you are. You have baffled the gates of hell because your surrender was louder than your suffering. And now what was once torment is turning into testimony. You've stepped into a season where the enemy's grip has been shattered. He threw his best at you, and you didn't fold. You didn't deny your calling. You didn't give up your post. You didn't sell your soul for comfort. Instead, you kept saying, "Yes, Lord," even when the yes cost everything. So now you're walking in an authority that can't be faked. It was bought in the trenches, paid for in tears, refined by resistance. You are a problem to darkness. Now your very presence causes agitation in atmospheres that once owned you. You no longer enter rooms with fear. You walk in as one who knows exactly who's backing you. Hell regrets touching you, not because life is easy now, but because the fire already did its work. You're not looking to be approved anymore. You're already appointed. And with that appointment comes divine reinforcement. Angels surround you. The Spirit of God speaks through you. And every step you take now shakes something in the unseen. Philippians chapter 4 verse 13 reveals, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." That is not just a verse. It is now your reality. You are walking proof. Not only did you survive, you're rising with something unshakable. There's a new boldness in your voice, a fresh fire in your eyes, not driven by ego, but by encounter. You've been with God, and it shows. This is why you must keep going. Others need to hear this kind of truth, this kind of unfiltered, spirit-breathed clarity. If this word has pierced your heart, if it has confirmed something deep within your spirit, then tap the flame. Others feel this fire. Press like, because someone scrolling in silence needs to be stopped by the word. Send this to a fighter, someone on the edge, someone who needs the proof that survival is still possible. Stay connected. Don't just visit this well. Draw from it daily. Subscribing keeps the flow uninterrupted. And if the Lord stirs your heart, plant a seed into this mission. You're not giving to a brand. You're investing in a battle cry. Every gift helps this voice reach deeper into dark places, into phones, jail cells, and prayer closets around the world. Your obedience could be the answer to someone else's silent prayer. Their son whispered, "God, speak to me. Let your eyes ripple beyond what your eyes can see." Heaven uses willing vessels, not perfect ones, just available ones. And your simple act of obedience today could become someone else's breakthrough tomorrow. You confused hell by not quitting. Now confuse the world by rising with glory. They saw you crawl, but they're about to see you run. They saw you weep, but they're about to see you roar. Because the same mouth that cried in pain is the same one that will now prophesy purpose. And this is just the beginning. Your light isn't a flicker, it's a fire, and no darkness can extinguish it now. This was divine training, not punishment. Everything you went through, the silence, the stretching, the setbacks, they were never designed to destroy you. They were crafted to develop you. God wasn't being cruel. He was being careful. You weren't being crushed for nothing. You were being trained for something greater than you can yet imagine. You are not broken. You are built. You are not behind. You are becoming. The wilderness wasn't a detour. It was a sacred proving ground, a holy boot camp, a place where God stripped away distractions, shattered illusions, and taught you to fight not with flesh, but with faith. You weren't being ignored. You were being instructed. That's why nothing made sense in the natural world, because your preparation was spiritual. God had to get the world out of you before he could put the weight of glory on you. He had to teach you how to lean on him alone, because where you're going, the crowd won't be able to help you. Popularity can't protect you. Status won't sustain you. Only presence will carry you. So he taught you how to walk alone so you would learn to walk with him. He allowed the silence so you'd learn to recognize his voice. He allowed the delay so you'd discover his timing. He allowed the rejection so you'd lean into his acceptance. He allowed the pruning so your roots would go deep. You are not where you were. And that's the point. You've been in the dark room of destiny, where film is developed slowly, image by image in sacred stillness. And now that image is ready. Heaven sees it clearly, and soon the world will too. But before the unveiling comes the training. There are things that couldn't be taught on a stage, only in struggle. There are lessons that didn't come from books, but from battles. And you passed. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not proudly, but you passed because you didn't run. You stayed. You prayed. You pressed in when everything in you wanted to back out. And heaven took note. You were trained in stillness, strengthened in silence, calibrated in chaos. And now you carry something rare, something heaven approves and hell dreads spiritual weight, not charisma, not charm, but authority. And that authority didn't come cheaply. It was earned in the midnight hours when no one was watching but God. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3 instructs, "Endure hardship as a good soldier of Christ Jesus." That's exactly what you did. You endured. You may not have realized it at the time, but every hard thing you faced was heaven's confirmation that you were being prepared for leadership. Every no was strengthening your discernment. Every weight was increasing your capacity. Every fall was teaching you how to rise. You were being made into a weapon that wouldn't fold under pressure. Now, what once felt like punishment, you can see as preparation, because the strength you carry didn't come from comfort. It came from fire. The wisdom you walk in didn't come from applause. It came from pain. The peace you now possess wasn't downloaded in a moment. It was carved into you through years of pressing. You are not soft. You are not fragile. You are not disqualified. You are trained, and training never feels good while it's happening. But now the fruit is beginning to show, the way you don't flinch in storms anymore, the way you hear beyond the noise, the way your prayers carry weight because they come from a place of real battle. That's why the enemy is nervous. Now he doesn't just see a survivor, he sees a soldier. He doesn't just see a vessel, he sees a weapon. You've been tested and proven refined and recalibrated, and now you are moving with clarity and conviction that can't be taught or forged. This wasn't punishment. This was precision. This was heaven's way of saying, you're ready for more. And now, as the oil starts flowing and the favor starts multiplying and the doors begin to open, you'll look back on the wilderness and say, it wasn't wasted. It was working for me. Because it always was. God's chosen one. Pause now and declare your agreement. Comment 444. This number marks divine alignment, establishment, and foundational completion. It's not just symbolic. It says, I recognize the training. I honor the process. I'm ready to be trusted with the next level. This is your moment of agreement between what heaven sees and what you're stepping into. 444. Your spirit knows it's time. The hidden ones are being revealed. For so long you wondered if God had forgotten your name. You watched others be elevated, celebrated, promoted, while you remained unseen, overlooked, and seemingly stuck in the shadows. But what you didn't know is that you were never being overlooked. You were being protected, covered, preserved, hidden, not out of rejection, but because of intention. You are not like the others. Your calling carries too much weight to be exposed prematurely. If God had released you before the right moment, you would have been mishandled, misunderstood, and misused. But heaven was too invested in what you carry to let that happen. So God hid you, not to punish you, but to prepare the world for your unveiling. You weren't delayed. You were preserved for the exact time of revealing. There's a difference between being buried and being planted. You felt the dirt, the silence, the stillness. But what felt like a grave was really a garden. And while others saw nothing growing, God saw the roots going deep. He saw your posture when there was no platform. He saw your obedience when there was no audience. And he smiled because heaven doesn't elevate according to man's timing. Heaven elevates according to readiness. And now you're ready. The stage may not look grand, the light may not be bright, but the assignment is sacred. This isn't about going viral. This is about going vertical, straight into your divine positioning. God is revealing his hidden ones in this hour, the ones who carry real oil, refined character, tested faith. The ones who didn't need the crowd to stay loyal. The ones who still worshipped when their name wasn't called. You are among them. You've been forged in private. And now, heaven is placing you in position not to be flashy, not to impress, but to release something the world desperately needs. And the reason your process was longer, harder, quieter, is because your call is weightier. You weren't called to blend in. You were called to break ground, and pioneers are often hidden until the time of construction. Now construction has begun. God is building something new in this generation, something pure, something holy, and he's using hidden ones to do it. People like you, people who have been through fire but didn't burn, people who carry depth, not just charisma, people who can weep in warfare and still lead with clarity, people who have no desire to be famous, just faithful. You've become dangerous now, not because you're loud, but because you're aligned. Because now you understand that hiddenness is not punishment, it's protection. You see that the silence was sacred, the obscurity was ordained, and now what once felt like delay, you wear like a mantle of grace. You can walk into any room without needing to be noticed, because heaven already knows your name. Matthew chapter 6 verse 4 promises, "Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you." You were never hidden from God. You were hidden by God. He watched you sow in silence. He heard every whispered prayer. He collected every tear. He measured every sacrifice. And now in his timing, not yours, the unveiling begins. But don't expect it to look like the world's version of success. The revealing of the hidden ones doesn't come with noise. It comes with authority. When you speak now, heaven responds. When you move, now hell trembles not because of you, but because of who sent you. The hidden ones don't come to entertain. They come to establish themselves. They don't show up for fame. They show up for fire. They don't need applause. They've been anointed. And when they step into place, things shift, structures crumble, bondages break, truth is restored. That's what happens when heaven reveals its hidden warriors. And that's what you are. The years of being hidden weren't wasted. They were sacred. The moments you thought were insignificant are now the foundation for your impact. And every no you heard then was heaven's way of preserving your yes for now. You are one of God's hidden ones, but not for long. He is calling you forth not to show off, but to show up, not to prove your worth, but to pour out what he's placed inside of you. And now you can be trusted with visibility because you no longer need validation. You've learned the language of the secret place. You've learned how to stay grounded while others drift. You've learned how to walk in the dark with nothing but his voice. And that's why he's revealing you now, because he knows you won't take the glory. You'll give it all back to him. You were hidden, now you are here. Hell regrets touching you. The enemy didn't just make a mistake, he made a miscalculation. He thought he was putting an end to you. What he didn't realize is that every strike only activated what was buried inside of you. He thought the fire would burn you out, but it burned off everything that wasn't part of your calling. Every attack, every betrayal, every sleepless night, every tear, he thought it would finish you, but it formed you. The enemy underestimated your endurance. He didn't see the depth of your surrender. He didn't think you'd still be standing, still praising, still believing, still trusting, even after everything was stripped away. But here you are, not broken built, not hopeless holy, not abandoned anointed. You're not the same person who entered the battle. You've changed, not because time passed, but because truth took root, because grace held you together when everything else was falling apart, because God stepped in when others stepped away. Because deep in the war zone of your soul, something eternal began to awaken. You stopped asking, "Why me?" and started declaring, "Send me." That's when hell knew it had a problem, because nothing terrifies the enemy more than a wounded warrior who still worships a believer who's been through loss, pain, and disappointment, and still walks with oil in their hands and fire in their eyes. You've become that kind of problem. The enemy overplayed his hand. He hit your health, and you still prayed. He hit your finances, and you still tithed. He hit your mind, and you still renewed it with the word. He tried to isolate you, but you found intimacy with God in the isolation. He tried to silence you, but now your voice carries more weight than ever. You are no longer reactionary. You are prophetic. What once triggered you now trains you. What once broke you now builds others. What once stole your peace now fuels your authority. You're not here by accident. You're not surviving on luck. You're a walking testimony that no weapon formed against you could prosper because God didn't just preserve you. He promoted you through every storm. Isaiah chapter 54 verse 17 proclaims, "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and this is their vindication from me, declares the Lord." That is your heritage. And now the weapons that once had access to your heart bounce off the shield of faith you've built in the trenches. The words that once broke you now echo without effect. The lies that once controlled you now feel weightless. Why? Because truth has become your atmosphere. Obedience has become your oxygen. Glory has become your garment. The enemy regrets the day he touched you, not because he failed to break you, but because everything he threw at you only activated your next level. What was sent to delay you actually trained you. What was sent to distract you actually matured you. What was meant to bury you actually launched you. Hell's agenda backfired. Now you carry clarity. Now you carry power. Now you carry language forged in the fire. You no longer speak from theory, you speak from testimony. And testimony is dangerous because it releases faith, it multiplies hope, it tears down every lie hell has used to keep others stuck in silence. You are not just a survivor, you are a threat. You are the proof that healing is real, that restoration is possible, that the presence of God is still enough. When people look at you, they'll see strength, but only you and God know what it cost. And that's why the enemy wishes he had left you alone. Because now everything he touched is turning into territory. Your pain is now a platform. Your weeping is now a weapon. Your story is now a strategy. Your scars are now a signal God was here. And now you move forward with full awareness of who you are and who your God has always been. No more shrinking. No more apologizing for your oil. No more explaining your process to those who couldn't have survived it. What you carry now was purchased in the fire, and it's not up for debate. You are walking in victory, not because of ease, but because of evidence. Hell regrets touching you, and heaven is ready to use you. The unseen battles you won in silence are the ones heaven honors most. No one clapped, no one saw. There were no likes, no applause, no audience, just you, your tears, your questions, and a stubborn faith that refused to die while the world kept spinning. You were fighting wars in the spirit, internal battles, mental assaults, soul-level storms. You walked into rooms smiling while bleeding on the inside, and yet you endured. You didn't just fight, you won. And those victories, though invisible to the world, are recorded in eternity. God saw every time you stayed quiet instead of retaliating. He saw every time you chose to forgive instead of fight. He saw when you gave even while empty, when you lifted your hands in worship with nothing left but breath. You didn't collapse under pressure. You grew. You didn't scream for attention. You whispered truth to yourself until your soul remembered who you were. That kind of faith doesn't go unnoticed. While others celebrated platform victories, you were gaining private crowns. Heaven was watching as you took blow after blow and still chose obedience. You weren't seen, but you were sealed. You weren't praised, but you were promoted not by men, by God. And now the fruit of those silent wins is beginning to manifest. You carry a different weight. You walk with quiet authority. You don't need to prove yourself. Your presence proves the process. The oil on your life is not from a stage. It's from a secret place. It smells like warfare. It drips with endurance. You may not have the accolades of man, but you have the approval of heaven. That approval didn't come cheap. It costs you comfort. It costs you a connection. It cost you versions of yourself that had to die so the anointed version could live. You said goodbye to ease so you could say yes to purpose. You let the fire change you, and it did. Now, when you speak, there's substance. When you pray, things shift. When you walk into a room, the unseen realm pays attention. Why? Because those who win battles in silence carry power that doesn't need permission. And yet many still won't understand. They'll think you got lucky. They'll assume you rose too quickly. But they don't know about the nights you didn't sleep, the days you almost gave up, the moments you felt abandoned by everyone, including God, but stayed anyway. They don't know how you battled self-doubt, fear, and deep weariness and overcame it. You overcame in silence. And now, the sound of your life is speaking louder than any scream. Romans chapter 8 verse 18 considers, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. You've carried suffering. Now comes glory, but it's not flashy. It's weighty. It's the kind of glory that rests on shoulders that have been strengthened in sorrow. It's the kind of light that only shines from those who've sat in darkness and still chose the narrow path. You are one of them. Your obedience in private has earned you promotion on purpose. Your surrender in secret has released a new level of spiritual sight. You see differently now. You respond differently now. You don't need validation. You've been vetted. And for those who are still in the quiet war, this is your reminder. Heaven sees what no one else claps for. God hears what no one else acknowledges. And the crown that's being formed for you is not made of gold, but glory. You don't need the world to know your name. Heaven already wrote it down. So now, if this word bears witness with your journey, declare it in the comments below. Still I stood. Because that one sentence speaks volumes. It says, I endured. I stayed. I didn't crumble, not because I was strong, but because God was faithful, because His hand held me when my strength gave out, because my spirit was anchored while my flesh was weary. Let those 3 words be your monument, your altar, your victory cry. Still I stood. It means I faced storms that should have taken me out. I heard whispers of defeat and felt the pull of quitting, but even when I had nothing left, I didn't sit down in surrender. I remained standing in surrender. It's not arrogance. It's not pride. It's a witness. A testimony that the winds blew, the ground shook. The silence lasted, but you never let go of the promise. You stayed rooted when others ran. You chose obedience over escape. And that posture of standing was your warfare. Heaven saw it. Hell hated it, but grace sustained it. That's why you're still here. Your endurance shook the heavens. While others waited for a miracle to keep going, you kept going without one. You praised when the answer was still not yet. You remained faithful while others faded out. You stayed planted while the wind screamed to uproot you. And that simple endurance, born in pain, sustained by grace, ripples through the spiritual realm. You weren't loud. You weren't seen. But every time you chose to stay when leaving looked easier, heaven noticed. Every time you chose to trust when fear made more sense, heaven recorded it. The angels leaned in. Demons grew restless. Because endurance is not weakness, it's warfare. The enemy hoped you'd collapse in the middle. But God was using the middle to make you immovable. He wasn't trying to push you to the edge. He was anchoring you in Him. That's why the ground shook, but you didn't fall. That's why storms hit, but you still stood. You weren't just holding on. You were holding heaven's attention. It may have felt like nothing was moving, but while you waited, the foundation under you was shifting. God was reinforcing the places that used to break. He was strengthening the places where cracks used to form. And now, you're not fragile anymore. You are fortified. This isn't about hype. This is about heavenly history. You didn't just survive. You made history in the spirit. Your decision to stay when it didn't make sense, that was the earthquake. That's what shook chains off your bloodline. That's what broke generational patterns. That's what shifted the trajectory of your future. It wasn't a sermon. It wasn't a conference. It wasn't a prophetic word. It was your endurance. James chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him. You've stood the test. You didn't curse God in the waiting. You worshipped Him. You didn't manipulate your way forward. You waited with dignity. And now, you're stepping into a season where your consistency will become your testimony. The reward won't match the length of the wait. It will exceed it because God always overdoes it for the ones who endure well. Doors are about to open not because of connections, but because of consecration. You didn't network your way into favor. You prayed your way into it. You fasted. You wept. You sacrificed. And now heaven is responding not with noise, but with release favor that doesn't expire, provision that doesn't shake anointing, that doesn't drain peace, that doesn't vanish. Why? Because it's covenant born, not crowd-fed. And as this new door opens, never forget what built it, your quiet endurance. If this word is watering something in your spirit, don't just scroll on respond. Light the flame by hitting the like button, not for metrics, but as a prophetic act, saying, Lord, I receive this. Let that single action echo your agreement in heaven. Pass this torch by sharing it with someone walking through the hallway of silence. They may not say it out loud, but they're tired. They need confirmation that enduring still counts. Stay in the flow. Subscribe not just to a channel, but to a stream of prophetic oil that aligns with your destiny. This isn't noise. This is nourishment. And if this word struck something deeper, fuel it forward. Your giving doesn't buy miracles. It builds altars. It makes it possible for this voice to keep reaching souls in deserts, jail cells, hospital rooms, and broken homes. You are not just supporting a message. You are sowing into a movement. You're not a spectator. You're a stone in the foundation of revival. Your quiet endurance has done more than you know. It opened portals of generational freedom. It sent a signal to heaven, I'm ready to carry the weight. And heaven is responding not with a whisper, but with a wave. Because it wasn't just your pain that made noise, it was your patience. The world will call what's coming sudden, but you'll know it was accumulated. Every silent night, every whispered, yes, every God, I'll trust you. Anyway, they piled up in glory, and now they're tipping. This is what breakthrough looks like when it's born from endurance, quiet, heavy, holy, and now you rise not for applause, but for assignment. Let your life testify. Let the heavens echo your obedience. Let the earth feel the shift of your unwavering trust. You didn't break down. You broke through. And now it begins. You're not behind. You're right on prophetic time. The enemy tried to convince you that you missed it, that you waited too long, that you should have moved sooner, that your delay has disqualified you. But those were lies spoken into vulnerable moments. God doesn't work according to human clocks. He works for eternity. And in eternity, you are exactly where you need to be. Every delay was designed. Every pause was divine. What you saw as setbacks were really sacred stalls, heaven's way of keeping you in step with what hadn't yet aligned. You were never behind. You were being held by a hand that sees farther than you ever could held, until the ground was ready, held until the people were in place, held until the room was prepared. What looked like nothing happening was actually everything moving, just not in your sight. But in God's sovereignty, nothing is wasted, nothing is late, nothing is forgotten. He doesn't miss appointments, and he doesn't misplace his chosen ones. You are not overlooked, you are right on time. This is why some doors didn't open when you begged. They weren't the wrong doors, they were the wrong seasons. You weren't ready, or they weren't ready. And rather than allow you to step into a space that would damage what he was developing in you, God kept it shut. Not out of rejection, but protection. You wanted acceleration, but heaven wanted alignment. You wanted arrival, but God wanted accuracy. Because where you're going isn't about showing up fast. It's about showing up full of the word, full of maturity, full of wisdom, full of clarity, full of oil. And that takes time. That takes pruning. That takes stripping away every false timeline so that what's left is pure trust. You are not slow. You are being synchronized. There are things God had to delay so your impact wouldn't be sabotaged by immaturity. There were places he refused to send you until your character could carry your calling. There were relationships he had to withhold until your heart could steward them rightly. Not because he was being cruel, but because he was being careful. He's not just after your moment, he's after your legacy. And legacy takes time to build. There's a difference between good timing and God timing. Good timing makes things convenient. Good timing makes things eternal. And what he's doing to you now isn't just for one breakthrough, it's to set the course for generations. You are walking in prophetic time, and prophetic time never rushes. It moves when heaven speaks. It advances when divine doors unlock, not because of striving, but because of submission. And that's what you've chosen, even when it hurts, even when it doesn't make sense, even when others rush ahead and you are left wondering why. Now you know why God was keeping you hidden until holy, and now the rhythm is shifting. The pace is picking up, not because you're hustling, but because heaven has declared the release. What took years to build in private will now accelerate in public, not by effort, but by anointing. But don't forget, this slow doesn't mean stuck. Every not yet was making you stronger. Every wait was adding weight to your words. Every closed door was shaping your discernment. And now what you carry can't be duplicated. It's too refined, it's too sacred, and it's right on time. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 establishes, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." And this is your time, not by accident, not by chance, but by prophetic design. Everything is catching up to what God already knew about you, the assignments, the people, the opportunities, the restoration, the release. They're not just finally arriving, they're aligning. Because you didn't jump ahead, you didn't break formation, you trusted the timing even when it wounded your pride. And that's why what's coming now will fit. You won't have to force it, you won't have to fake it, you won't have to fear it. You'll just walk into it fully aware that you were never behind. You were just waiting for the right chapter to begin. And now it has. And when you walk through this next door, you'll recognize it not because of how grand it looks, but because of how much peace surrounds it. You'll feel the rhythm of grace under your feet. You'll know deep in your spirit, this is the moment I was preserved for. And nothing can stop what God has synchronized. You navigated wilderness seasons and came out wise. You bowed low when pride called you to rise. You released what others would have clutched. You said yes to what looked like nothing, and that yes has now become the gateway to everything. This favor isn't fair, but it is right. Because God does not forget the sacrifices made in secret. He doesn't overlook what was laid down at his feet when no one else saw. You weren't sowing into thin air. You were sowing into eternity. And now the harvest is upon you, not a partial return, not a trickle, a downpour. Amos chapter 9 verse 13 announces, The days are coming, declares the Lord, when the reaper will be overtaken by the plowman and the planter by the one treading grapes. New wine will drip from the mountains and flow from all the hills. That's what this is. The overtaking, the flow, the uncontainable release, not just restoration of what was lost, but multiplication of what was locked. And it's not just material. This favor will show up in peace that surpasses your understanding, in clarity where there used to be chaos, in strength where there used to be fatigue, in divine alignment where there used to be confusion. What used to feel delayed will now arrive early. What used to take years will now take weeks. What once seemed impossible will suddenly feel inevitable because you are no longer just walking by faith. You're walking in fulfillment. You're no longer holding on. You're walking through. This favor is not here to make you comfortable. It's here to make you effective. God is giving you access, not just to enjoy, but to establish. He's giving you reach not for status, but for impact. He's giving you resources not to flaunt, but to fund freedom for others. You've become a distribution center of heaven's goodness, a carrier of overflow, a walking reminder that obedience is never wasted. People will see the fruit, but only you will know the root. Only you will remember the nights you cried into your pillow saying, Lord, I'll still trust you. Only you will recall the days you gave your last, the mornings you showed up broken but faithful. This favor is heaven's response to what you thought no one noticed. And now it's pouring out. Heaven didn't forget. God didn't overlook. The delay wasn't denial, it was divine alignment. Get used to divine surprises. Get used to doors opening mid-sentence. Get used to hearing we don't usually do this, but for some reason, because what's in your life now confuses protocol. This is not the reward of perfection, it's the reward of endurance, of faith, of unshaken obedience, of holy surrender. You didn't rush the process, and now the process is rushing you into places your heart couldn't have even imagined. The mantle has fallen on you now. This was not passed through popularity. It was not handed down through applause or granted by human titles. It was forged in the lonely places, sealed in obedience and transferred in silence. You didn't chase the mantle, it found you because you stayed when others ran. You carried what others dropped. You endured what others escaped. And now, heaven has released what only surrender could qualify you for. A mantle is more than responsibility. It's evidence of divine trust. It doesn't come lightly. It comes when God decides someone has been tested long enough, when the fire has done its refining and the wilderness has done its emptying, when the soul has been stripped of agenda, ego, and ambition. That's when the mantle falls, not as a reward for talent, but as a response to yielding. You didn't even realize you were being watched, but heaven was watching the way you carried weight in silence, the way you forgave in secret, the way you served when no one clapped, the way you waited with dignity without begging for recognition. Those weren't small acts, they were mantle movements. While others were building platforms, you were building altars. While others were perfecting brand identity, you were perfecting your identity in Christ. While others sought crowds, you sought the cloud of glory. And now, because you chose to remain hidden in Him, He is clothing you in something visible, something heavy, something that shifts atmospheres when you walk in a room. It's not charisma, it's a mantle. You've been assigned something weightier than influence, spiritual government, the ability to speak with authority because you submitted in humility, the ability to break chains because you broke your own cycles, the authority to stand before giants because you first bowed before God. And this mantle isn't just for you. It's for those you're called to liberate. You are now a key carrier, a torchbearer, a voice for those still in what you've already come through. This mantle means your life is no longer just personal, it's prophetic. Your decisions carry weight, your words carry power, your prayers carry breakthroughs because you've become a vessel that can host the holy without contaminating the assignment. 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 13 recounts Elisha then picked up Elijah's cloak that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. That mantle didn't fall by accident. It fell by divine direction. Elijah didn't drop it for a crowd. He dropped it for the one who stayed, the one who followed to the end, the one who was present at the point of departure, ready to step into destiny. That's you. You were there at the point of pain. You remained through the departure of old versions of yourself. You didn't quit in transition. And because of that, the mantle has fallen not as a symbol of status, but as a sign of function. You are now walking in what others forfeited, not because you were more gifted, but because you were available, because you were present, because you were positioned. And now you carry the weight of assignment and the weight of glory. Don't take it lightly. This mantle is not decoration. It's a divine responsibility. It will cost you your comfort. It will stretch your capacity. It will demand holiness when compromise knocks. But it will also bring heaven's backing in ways you've never known before. You won't speak alone. You won't stand alone. You won't war alone. The Spirit of God will walk with you, speak through you, and stand behind you. This is why the crushing had to happen, why the delay had to last, why the stripping had to run deep, because shallow vessels crack under mantle weight. But you've been made ready. And now, as you carry what heaven has released, you will begin to notice the shift. Doors will open not because of you, but because of what's on you. Environments will change not because you are loud, but because you are clothed in something sacred. Your presence will disrupt demonic patterns. Your life will be an answer to someone else's silent prayer. You are not wearing a title. You are wearing a mantle. And that mantle came from God alone. It wasn't handed to you through popularity or public approval. It was assigned to a secret place. That's why no man can take it, no platform can replace it, and no enemy can revoke it. It is heaven's seal on your life. And with it comes access, authority, and accountability. You'll walk into rooms and not understand why the atmosphere shifts, but the spirit realm will know exactly why. Because the mantle speaks before you do. The mantle goes ahead of you, and it carries heaven's weight, God's chosen one. You didn't just make it to the end of a message. You walked through a spiritual commissioning line by line. Heaven has been confirming what's already stirring deep inside you. You are not ordinary. You are never random. And this is your moment. This message was not a motivational push. It was a prophetic release, a divine signal that the waiting season is over. The pressing has produced oil, and the crown is no longer pending. So now take a moment. If your spirit is still burning, don't let the flame fade into forgetfulness. Tap like to say, "This word was for me." It may be a button, but today, it's a banner. Share this word with someone who's been battling in silence. Let your obedience be their invitation into clarity. Comment below. I accept the weight. It's not just a phrase, a surrender, a seal, a sign to heaven. I won't run from what you've placed on me. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Don't disconnect from the oil that's been finding you in the secret place. Stay close. Stay fed. And if you feel led to sow, do it in faith. Every seed becomes a whisper in heaven's honor. You're not tipping a creator. You're building an altar. You've crossed a threshold from hidden to heralded, from shaken to sent, from surviving to walking in the weight of divine purpose. Heaven has marked you. Hell regrets you. Earth needs you. Now, rise and don't turn back.